So many of you have asked me, when is the best time to cut back your iris leaves? It's really a matter of timing to get the best out of these beautiful flowers. So today we're going to take a look at that, as well as a few tips to care for them so they can be their best. My name is Marlene. Welcome everyone to my home and garden channel. Now let's get going. Iris are such beautiful flowers. They bloom in the mid to late spring, and boy are they gorgeous. These are some I've had for quite a few years. The name bearded iris comes from the little patch of hairs that you'll see at the base of the lower petals, and they can get pretty large, anywhere from 3.5 inches to even 5.5 inches in some cases. Because of that, though, they need a lot of energy, which of course is going to come from the leaves when they photosynthesize. So we don't want to take them off too quickly. When your flowers have faded, like say in the springtime, what you can do is just go in and go to the base of the flower stalk and just cut that off, and as you have more coming in, you'll go in and take them out, once they fade. So you can have that last nice fresh look in your garden for the spring. And they truly will reward you with the right care. Now over here, as the season progresses, you will see that you're starting to get browning leaves. Not the most attractive look, but you do have options, guys. What you can do is you can get some perennials or even annuals like the coneflower you just saw, or even these black-eyed Susans right here. And what you can do is you can plant them in front of it, give a little space between, but just plant them in front. So it's kind of like a beautiful distraction away from them. Just make sure they have similar watering and lighting needs, whatever you put there. So you can see they get brown from the tip and it goes down until the base of the each leaf that you're seeing there. So, that's the same patch. Just looks like this every spring. It's always so gorgeous. But to get it to look like this, you have to do some things to make sure that they get enough energy and they're ready to come over for the following year. And also to avoid certain types of damage in the winter. We need to cut them back, and there are lots of weeds and stuff in there, dried leaves that we need to take out, but I'm ready for it. I got my pruners right here, safety lock on, it's nice and clean. Got my gloves, and I also got my little trash bag to put them in. So let's go ahead and get started. So over here now I'm just going in and cutting them out, and it's very important that when you're using your pruners that they're clean and sharp, because you don't want to tear the leaves, because that can lead to infection. You want them to be nice and fresh looking. And typically I go in and I cut them on a slant, so that way if there's rain or water, it just rolls off more easily. You can see how they're looking there. And guys, what I'll say is typically we're doing this, the best time to do it would be in the late summer to early fall, when the weather's a little bit cooler and they've gathered enough energy. Just to go in and check, even before you go in, I should say, check to make sure there are no spiders there. I'm seeing a lot of Joro spiders around in my garden. They're kind of like a lime green color with black and white on them. I mean, they're not that harmful, but they can bite you if, they feel like they're being, they feel endangered. So I would say look out for those before you start any of this trimming right here. Just check the whole area everywhere around, and then you can go in and get started. So I'm just going in and cleaning these out. And even right after spring, you can just go in and take a little of those off. You don't have to wait until the very end of the summer, to go in and start doing that. And we're going to leave those green parts right there, because we still want our plant to get more energy as we keep going. And I'd say just do this on a cooler afternoon, so that way you can, just go in. If it's still a little warm, in the September for you, thereabouts, just go in the cool of the day. Plus it's less stress for your plants when you do the work either early in the morning or like a cool evening. This is tidy enough, but we have to go in and clear all of the dried branches that are there, as well as the there's some weeds in there. And I have my cultivator right here, but we have to be very gentle with it because we don't want to damage the rhizomes that are there. So it's a gentle process to go in and get those taken out. So just to remind you guys, this is what the rhizomes look like. Those are the storage underground stems. You may want to divide them if they're too close together. And this is how you'd cut them down like that. And I did a previous video where I showed you step by step on how to divide them and how to cut the leaves like that. And it will be in my iris playlist that I'll link at the end for you. So the main thing now is just to go in gently, with the cultivator, or if you're using something else, whatever it is, just be gentle when you're down there, because we don't want to damage the rhizomes, because if they do get damaged, they can be susceptible, to fungal diseases, sometimes even bacterial diseases and other pests. It's easier for them to go in, like leaf borers and all of that. So we want to protect our plants. So just go in and gently pull. And of course, we have these weeds in here that I don't know what they are. They're not bothering the rhizome too much. As you can see, they're growing very, very nicely and it's coming over the PVC pipe right there. But I'm going to go ahead and cut that piece off. And it's perfectly fine to go ahead and cut them as long as you're using a nice, clean, sharp knife, then you're pretty much good to go. Because they do like to be divided like every 5 years or so, 4 to 5 years. So cutting it off, as long as you do it the right way, it's not going to harm them too much. Or at all, I should say. If you know what that weed is, guys, tell me. It just runs a lot. I've seen them over the last few years. They keep coming back every late spring. I don't know what they are, but they're a little bit of an annoyance to me, but I have to go in and pull them out. These are some river pebbles right here that I use, to protect the plant right here like a mulch, but I'll talk a little bit more about that as we go further down into the video. But it works really well for me, and we'll just talk about a little bit more detail on that going further in. So we just want to go in and clear out what we can, the weeds, whatever types you have, if any. If you don't, lucky you. And if you've never planted iris before, bearded iris, I'll link these in the description box if you wanted to try to get them and plant those. They're wonderful and they really don't disappoint. But please do your reviews, when you're making these purchases. So over here, you may see sometimes you may have one that has rotted, and that doesn't harm the rest of the plant. So you just want to go in and get that taken out. And of course, we'll take out the one that's overgrowing on the PVC pipe. So you just go in and make a clean cut with it. And that's pretty sufficient. And you can also check to make sure there are no little holes under the bottom so you don't have any, leaf borers under there. But it's fine, once you have done your clean cut. And you notice that I'm cutting off the one that's looking good. And then the one that looks like it may be diseased or something afterwards, just to make sure I'm not spreading anything around. And so you look along here, you can see how the pebbles are on there. I'm going to have to go in and refresh them. But this is just to show you how we want the leaves to look when you're finished. That way they can still keep producing food for your plant. And we're going to go in and add in the pebbles afterwards. And I'll also show you, how they look for previous years, how we were doing them. But this is the size of the pebbles right here. Reasonable sized. And I like them. But, everybody has what they prefer best for their own space. So this is what we collected here. I'd say a tidy sum, of dried leaves, dried stems, and the weeds that were growing there. So just to show you about the mulch, I was talking about the little pebbles that you can use it for that reason. These plants, they do very well every year. They absolutely love it. So let's just take a closer look in to see what it looks like. You can see it right there. And what this does, even though you may think cold, winter, how will that help to, keep it warm? But it actually does, because it forms like another layer, around them, helps to insulate the soil, and it helps to control the temperature. Also, it doesn't rot down, or, age down like your wood would. It holds up firmly, and so that way it's not going to break down and smother over your roots. So if you do use like any other regular type of mulch, like the wood mulch, you'll want to go in and just put it lightly on there for the winter, but be sure to clear it off once, early spring comes around. So that way you don't have, harbor like pests and diseases and all of that. So over here, they've been to a little bit of stress, I would say, with all of that cutback and cleaning up. So I'm going in now and just watering them to make sure that they can relax and just calm down and just be their best. We just want to take care of our plants, to make sure that they are their best, and they reward us so well time and time again. I just love gardening, guys. You can give me a thumbs up if you like gardening and if you find it so rewarding. Speaking of that, I just wanted to take a moment to invite you to subscribe to my channel if you have never done so before. I do lots of gardening topics, tips, and tours. We have a wonderful community of gardeners here where we share ideas, and you can always leave me your comments, any questions that you may have. I'll take a look at them. And we do have some fall merchandise here. I do all seasons. They're all available under the shop icon or under my channel icon. You can go to where it says shopping on the tab there. And it means so much when you show your extra support to my channel that way, as well as my channel members, past and present. Thank you so much. Now we're looking at pests right here. And typically you can find, certain types of pests time and time. Well, I should say from time to time, you'll find them on there, where you may see like spider mites, you may see like, aphids and so on. But just go in and spray them, with some kind of an insecticidal soap. Sometimes you can make your own if you do homemade, type of pest control. You could do it that way and just spray them with it. Or you can, you even just wash them off or spray them off, I should say, with your hose. If not, you can always get one like this here, insecticidal soap that's already made up for you. And I will link this in the description box. You can get this online if you wanted to try that one. Not sponsored or anything. It's just one that I use from time to time. And, it works fairly well for me. So, of course, I will, suggest it to you and you can decide if it's something you wanted to try or not. So, they really will reward you with the right care. And sometimes too, you'll find that they may even still be okay without that, but over the years, eventually it's going to catch up to you. You will have to divide them, you will have to cut them back and do all of that. So might as well just get in the habit of, doing this, often, and it'll make it so much easier for you and you can enjoy your plants that way. Just do it in phases is what I say. Patience and planning is a big part of gardening, and we want it to be a pleasant experience. So I hope that this encourages you to trim back your iris and just continue with that wonderful gardening. And I want to wish you all the very best for the season ahead. Happy gardening, and I do hope to see you in the next video. Take care.